Hey guys, and welcome to Vintage Hi-Fi Devices Previews. Today I want to talk about these two speakers, the Marantz DS920, and how they sound and what these little suckers do. For the past 2 weeks, I've been listening to these speakers, the Marantz DS920, and I played various genres on these speakers to get to know their characteristics and to let you know how they sound. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Beforehand, I got to tell you that after the 2 weeks, I downloaded the official advertisement to get some more technical information about these speakers, and then I stumbled over something. Yes, I wasn't aware that these, that these are not the original woofers. Let's find out what those woofers are about. So they are glued in, and I'm not even gonna bother taking them out because I might damage the housing. So I'm gonna leave the speaker as they are because the built-in speakers now are in an excellent condition and the sound quality is I suppose very accurate. Of course, I'm missing the original woofers comparison, but what I can say so far is that the sound of those speakers are quite homogenic, so you will not be getting a lot of treble, you will not be getting a lot of mids, and you will definitely not be getting a lot of bass. But all in all, it's a soundscape that you are neatly using, and you can be listening to music for hours and it will not get on your nerves. And on the other hand, you always got to keep in mind those speakers are from the end of the 70s, so they were designed to play with equipment from that time era. So it's kind of unfair to be driving it with modern amplifiers like I did. I'm using my Aquaface, and it just shows that the speaker was not designed back then, and I think it's a technical problem too. It cannot reproduce as modern speakers, and that's another reason why I'm not really bothered with the speaker, the bass speaker being replaced, because this is a modern speaker, you can tell. And production over the decades has become better and better. So a speaker from the 70s will not have the same quality than a cheap speaker about the same size, modern made. Hashtag not all. I am aware that there's hi-fi icons out there from the 70s, even of the 60s, but that is another subject that I'm not going to talk about today. These speakers were a part of the marantz lot that I've been making videos about for the last couple months. I'm sure you have seen one or another of those videos. So you probably know that these speakers came from the very first owner, and also included was this bag which had some weird substance, and it had these things in them. So I already got new foam on these, and I've been experimenting to get the right kind of foam. My recommendation is, if you go to an RV dealer, they usually have all kinds of foams with different diameters, and if you ask nicely, they will just give you out of their scrap box, and you just give them a couple of euros for their coffee kasse. So this one was my first idea. It's a foam that you will find when you are into photography. You can actually break out these little squares, and then you will have a almost round surface that goes into here if you're into Minecraft. A much more elegant way is this right here, because it's already round. I'll show you what I did to get it to in this size. In the end, the varicue looks like this. It's the green foam, doesn't look too sexy, but I plotted this foil that goes on the foam like so, and then you get this nice black, deep black background. Also, if you love your fingers, don't try to cut the foam with a saw. That was my first attempt, and it almost ripped my hand off because this thing was flying everywhere. All right, so go to the RV place. They got this, and the diameter, this diameter is 80 millimeters. To my surprise, the sound changed incredibly after I put these in here, and the box then is a closed box and not a vented box anymore. The bass was much more precise, and it played much more lively, and for my hearing experience, it was more of an emotional play, and that is basically what I'm missing out on these speakers, and that would be my resume, is that the overall experience is they're nice speakers from end of the 70s. They're not bad, but they're also not spectacular. So they're beautiful on the outside. I love the wood veneer, and I love that the terminals are not at an expected position. And also the build of these speakers, they're heavy. That's something typical 70s, and these brands like Marantz, Sansui, GBL, they built their speakers back then solid. So, like I said, speakers from that time is... they're not that good. Hashtag not all, but that is my experience. Marantz is not someone that really stood out building speakers. Also, Sansui, they didn't stand out building speakers. They're excellent in other positions. So, great vintage hi-fi speakers. If you run them with vintage hi-fi gear, receivers and amplifiers, you're good to go. If you, as I did, tested them on modern amplifier, I used my Aquaface, which I gotta admit, that's pretty unfair because it just shows what those speakers are not capable of doing. And that brings me to the point that the woofers are not original. It's actually not a big deal because they're modern speakers built in now, and as long as the sound characteristics are similar to the old one, you're good to go. Because over the decades, production quality has increased big time when it comes to speakers. So I'm not a fan of replaced speakers, but as long as they play and they look good, everything is fine with me. So I would recommend those speakers optically. If they match in with the rest of your equipment, they sound good, and of course you can always tweak them to get a better sound out of them. They have the crossover that you can mess around with. I left them at a neutral position to just get the neutral sound that I like. But like I said, the option is there. You can tweak them, especially with the VariQ plugs. And I looked it up. They go for a ridiculous amount of euros on the internet. It's just crazy, and basically it's just a metal alloy plate with a screw through the middle, and that's it. So I guess you could always put a sock in it if you don't have these and you don't want to spend over 100 euros. If you have these, put a sock, listen again, and then you will get a much more firm and powerful bass out of it. That basically sums it up for these speakers. I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. Like this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!